Finally a permanent unit, a banner that we don't need to summon on. Maybe finally hard time is over. Maybe finally we get more chillaxing banners. Maybe. Well, nope. Hey guys, Gacha Gaming here. And of course I'm back with another banner guide. This time for the new upcoming Forbidden Festival Part 3 plus Crimson Academy banner. That's right, will be a dual banner with another Forbidden unit and not really a school unit, but like it's a Crimson school unit, so kind of the same, but this time it's also a limited unit. It's a little bit special, and just a quick detour here to explain the stuff here. We reached a point now where in the JP timeline we happen to have the release of the Megumin spin-off in the TV. So like 1 year ago roughly, the Megumin spin-off aired on the TV for the first time, and you know, to celebrate that we got a lot of stuff. First up, the new story should be dropping, which is kind of cool because it will be revolving around the Crimson Demon people, so that's pretty cool. With that we of course get multiple Crimson Demon themed banners, and well, this is one of the first one. There is actually a free Megumin normally that should be coming. We don't know yet when or how she will be coming, but if we scroll all the way down to, where is she? Here. Yes, she is. We wrote special here because again, you cannot pull for her. Same with this one, by the way. These are like non-pullable Megus. They are normally there for free. And the really cool thing about this Megumin, again, I'm not sure if and how we will get her, if they will just give her for free through a login campaign, if they actually make some kind of redemption codes, we'll see. I don't know that yet. But generally speaking, she's actually quite decent. First up, of course, she provides a 7% fire damage boost, so with that, OG Megu is literally dead because now she's even the better sub for her. Besides that, she has a self-gauge charge of 20%, which means, you know, even if there's like no other gauge units, you can at least self-gauge, maybe snag 1 or 2 mobs on the way, full gauge up and insta-ulti. Even if the arenas, for example, is like mage block, just getting the Megu ulti off like that is not the worst thing. She also has a self or like a party tier 1 magic attack buff. Again, it's only a tier 1 buff, and fast Megu in that regard is better, but of course fast Megu will not charge her ulti that fast, so you know, it will be a pros and cons between, do you want to use a fast Megu for the higher damage but longer charge time, or do you prefer to use this Megu with less charge time but of course less explosion damage. But enough of the free units, we're here of course for the banner units, and we start off simply with the Forbidden unit. And that's right, we are getting finally Forbidden Megumin in Global. And yes, she is an SS tier unit, and you know what it means, right? It's a must pull pretty much. But let me explain why. Before we talk about her ulti, let's just take a quick look at her kit. First up, 6% magic other passive trait, up to 12% if the HP 70% or more, aka a great sub for every Megumin. Unless you need to gauge up, then she falls off in that regard, but if you just care for damage, this is a great sub to have. She has a 2x random magic attack dark skill that deals pretty decent damage with a party 10% gauge charge. You know, party support, pretty POC, right? On a 21-second cooldown. Then the second skill is an HP condition skill that deals up to 152% magic attack AoE damage that provides a self tier 2 magic attack buff EX for 12 seconds. And last but not least, she actually has an on-elemental basic, but it's still the bonking basic, so don't expect too much damage. So, kit-wise, she has a self-magic attack buff, tier 2. She has a party gauge charge, you know, seems pretty fine, nothing too crazy. But of course, as usual with Megumins, the big thing here is, of course, her Forbidden ulti. First up, compared to all other ultis of her, this ulti is actually a neutral ulti. So that means no matter the arena, neutral damage will not get resisted and makes her usable in all arenas. That's one of the big things about her that's so great. It deals 513% damage, of course not the highest, but still fine. But it also has a 100% chance to crit. and it provides a party tier 2 ult damage buff for your whole team for 28 seconds. It costs also 180% charge, so kind of the same as, you know, ray gun and stuff like that. So it takes a while to charge, but keep in mind she has an AoE skill to potentially, you know, snack some wave kills. She has 10% party gauge. Yes, 21 seconds is a rather long cooldown, but either you have some other gauge units in your team that can help her getting to ult, or you just, you know, give her a target trait that she gets hit a lot. You give her full gauge stuff to just boost her gauge up as much as possible. That's all you need to do for this Megu. Either have some CDR so they can provide another round of self or like party gauge, or you have some kind of party gauge team members to get her to ult rather quick, to be honest. Most runs, I think, like worst case 15 till 20 seconds into the run she should ult, most of the times earlier than that. And that's the big point, because there's also a second thing to her that we have not talked about, and that's a party attack add up fixed dark damage. So you know the forbidden whiz thing where each hit gives bonus damage? That is the same here for this Megu. And now you might still be wondering, okay, sounds nice, also 28 seconds for like fixed damage bonus, of course, that matters over time. Yeah, it's fine. And you know, tier 2 ulti damage buff, fine, maybe, we don't know. Let me give you a little bit more explanation here. First up, while the fixed damage doesn't seem too much, even just 4000 damage per hit, especially again if you have multi-hits or just AoE arenas, each hit matters over time, and it's actually a noticeable damage upgrade that you get from that. So just for that alone is really good, and keep in mind it's a neutral ulti, so you can use that in pretty much every element that doesn't have forbidden unit right now. And so far we only have forbidden unit in light and earth, so you know, fire arena you can use forbidden Megu, wind arena you can use forbidden Megu, lightning arena you can use forbidden Megu, dark arena you can use forbidden Megu. She pretty much works in every element because of how long her ulti duration is with 28 seconds. Bonus damage is just most of the time worth it, and on top of that you also just get the tier 2 ult damage buff. To be honest here, right now in global it doesn't matter too much, because for most elements we don't have that many on elemental ultis where like it's a noticeable damage upgrade. But even if it's just a neutral, you know, ulti, it's still decent damage. And especially if you have on elemental ultis, for example in wind teams, this is amazing. Just imagine, you know, Dust having his self ult damage buff plus the forbidden Megu ulti damage buff, or the same thing with Fast Rin or Fast Chris or Fast Yellow having a tier 2 ult damage buff for the whole time, but just nuke even more with their ultis. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage that you can't just ignore. That's the whole beauty about this forbidden Megumin. She's versatile, aka you can use her in pretty much all elements. Heck, you could even use her in like physical earth arenas where you don't want to use forbidden whiz, if there are, you know, earth elemental ultis where it's beneficial. So she's universal with that. She provides a lot of bonus damage, both on element if you have on elemental ultis, and, you know, off element, which is of course not that high, but it's still 4000 per hit. So the moment you have a few multi-hits and some on elemental ultis, she's just that good. And even if not, you can just not use her for the one arena. She's not mandatory for every arena, but you can use her in every arena you want to use her. And I think that just makes her such a great unit. Is she a must pull? I think so. I mean, I'm personally probably going to skip her and try to see if I can pull her on Forbidden Chris. Maybe I actually just do my 2-3 YOLO multis and see if I can snack her. Because there's also a second unit in this banner that should not be ignored. The second unit is a new Iris. And it's this one here, not the top one, ignore that one. It's not out yet in global, but this one. Let's check what she can do. First up, 6% physical attack passive trait, nothing too crazy. But her first skill already starts off pretty strong. 3 times random attack with 137% damage. Triple hit, of course, you know, as I just said. works really well, for example, with a Forbidden Megu. And even if not, just having a triple hit with other lightning units, like for example Aqua and Komiko, stuff like that, is pretty good damage. She, with that alone, is already a great damage dealer for lightning arenas. On top of that, there's also 20% self gauge charge. Of course, on a lightning arena, the only valuable ulti that you can kind of use is our ulti 2s. I think it's best to use your ulti 2 version 2 to just get the guaranteed crits off. But of course, you can also just use your ulti 2 version 1 to maybe ult more often and just pray that you get lucky. It really also comes down what passive trait do you use. Do you use the Iris one where you want to use her signature weapon and just increase the ulti damage as much as possible? Do you run Shinjumaru with more gauge up and a normal passive trait, stuff like that? But generally speaking, one of these two ultis is probably used, and I think most of the time actually ulti 2 version 2. Second thing I need to mention here about the skill is an 18-second cooldown, which actually matters because her second skill deals 146% physical single target lightning damage, and it provides 6 seconds of CDR also on an 18-second cooldown. And you know, that's 6 seconds of CDR with another unit, like for example, you know, Xmas Aqua also having CDR, right? That's 2 times 6 seconds of CDR, which means in theory both of Iris' skills, if you of course couple her with Xmas Aqua, are pretty much just on a 6-second cooldown. And after you use the first skill and the CDR, and from Aqua to CDR, you can just use the double hit again. After that, you can just use her other skill again. And you can just loop that. So you pretty much never use her basic, so the basic doesn't matter. You have a lot of lightning damage, and of course, a pretty decent ulti nuke that is neutral, and with that, does pretty decent damage. And of course, 6-second CDR matters for the other units as well, which helps Aqua keep her buff longer. It helps the CDR unit, the rest rate unit, sorry, to, you know, provide the full duration of the rest rate. And she is pretty good. Again, even more priority, in my opinion, thanks to no collaborations in global. We don't have a Misaka, which was kind of a little bit replaced by the Iris. I mean, they were kind of head-to-head, I would say, so she is kind of on Misaka's power level, which is pretty crazy to think about. And with that, she's an amazing pickup for lightning units. Of course, in the future, it will still take a while, pretty much, I think roughly a year or so. There's also another lightning Iris that will just kill off this one, but until that point, I think she's one of the better lightning units that we have. And you know, if you want to pull for Megumin anyway, there's a good chance that you can get her along the way. Should you pull for her if you already get Megumin? That's a little bit harder. It really comes down to your team. If you want to compete in lightning and you already have 2 other amazing lightning units, especially Xmas Aqua, I think she's a great pickup. If you don't have Xmas Aqua or your lightning team isn't generally bad, or you just don't care about lightning, I think then you can just stop. But all in all, I think she's a pretty strong unit, and if you get her, that's a great pickup as well. A few more things that I want to mention here. First up, with Forbidden Megumin, Infinite Summons should be back, so you know, maybe you get lucky and get her for free. That would be pretty pog for everyone here, including me. Please, I would love that if I could get her from that, so I can just skip the banner. That would be so good for me, especially since I have like no quartz left. Besides that, again, new story comes, so that's some free quartz that you can get, you can use. Maybe we get some new story bundles with that. We'll see if they do like another quest boost or that. I'm not sure. And last but not least, stay tuned for more information about the free Megumin. If I see any news posted how you can get her, I will of course make a community post. I don't think I can make a video because when this video drops, I'm not at home. I'm hopefully be back soon after that, but we'll see. Well, I could be back. I could be actually back when this video drops, but I hope that we get news about the Megumin before this video drops or before I'm back. So if there is an update on that regard, I of course will make a community post and or a video you will see. Just stay tuned. So if you don't want to miss that and just don't want to miss any other guides and sound videos, like, subscribe, Comment if you like this video or what you think will be the way we get the Megu, or if you think we get the Megu. Will you summon on this banner or not? Let me know. And potentially also a reason. I think a lot of people would be interested in that. And of course, last but not least, you can also comment how your luck went after the banner drops. Did you get lucky? Did you get unlucky? I'm curious. I want to know how you guys doing out there. So thank you so much for watching. Good luck on the banner. See you all in the next one. Bye.
だから一緒に行きましょう